So, hi guys, happy holidays. It's not usually that I make a video like this, and honestly, I've never dabbled in making videos about theory crafting or analyzing media. I honestly want to do that in the future, but you could suppose that this is my first time doing this. Basically, I got really excited because, well, a new Deltarune newsletter released, almost like it was a little holiday gift to us from Toby Fox. And in that newsletter, if you scroll down all the way to the very bottom of the email, what you can see is a vague snowman like figure with antlers, which, if you think about it, it could also seem like a creature who is melting from determination. It can also seem like a pile of dust. Perhaps this is Dess's current physical state, and it isn't supposed to be interpreted as just a snow creature, or it just could be a snow creature with antlers. But if you tap and or click on this sprite, you are led to this page where there is a block of text. A block of text, a block of text that seems to be either thoughts from Noelle or something like a diary entry or a journal entry from her. Could even be an online post. But this piece of text from Noel reads: When it snows, me and my sister and everyone have a contest to make the biggest snow angel of all. We lie on the ground and spread our arms and wave them until we get a shape just like us. I'm the smallest, even smaller than Chris, but I don't lose because after we stand up to look, Des always tells me, Hey, look, Ellie, yours has more hidden underneath, and pushes away all the snow I couldn't reach. So I have the biggest wings of all. I wish it could snow whenever I wanted. Yeah. So if we read this, now I don't know if this is just me reading too much into these things because I'm so used to watching and reading Deltarune theories and like theory crafting videos and posts on Tumblr, Reddit. But to me, just about every single line, almost every single line in this page, on this web page, is significant with multiple meanings. And as we know, Toby is one for deeper meaning and multiple meanings to everything he basically puts out about Undertale and Deltarune and the whole universe. So let's start from the beginning. When it snows, me and my sister and everyone have a contest to make the biggest snow angel of all. So, first of all, it's very clear to us that my sister here is Des. So this is about Des. And it mentions everyone, which I suppose also includes Asriel and perhaps other characters we haven't been introduced to or know that was friends with Chris and Noelle when they were young. To make the biggest snow angel of all is the next line. So the word big in Deltarune has connotations. Spamton is repeatedly seen using the word big to describe power. The bigger you become in the world of Deltarune, the more powerful you are. The legend that Ralsei tells has includes titans who are, known as like large creatures with a lot of power. So largeness is considered powerful, which would especially make sense for Darkness and the Dark World since everything in the Dark World is enlarged versions of things that exist in real life. And so therefore it can be presumed that the darkness themselves are very small, not very literally but like in terms of power basically, which is perhaps they manifest as small things among the larger things in the light world which are considered big. I guess that sort of contradicts the fact that Susie and Chris are sort of the same size as other darkness in the dark world, but still there's some sort of connection with largeness and power, which that makes sense, that makes logical sense in terms of real life. So, to make the biggest snow angel of all, we lie on the ground and spread our arms. Oh, yeah, wait, before I move on, we have a contest to make the biggest snow angel of all. So, there's this connotation of having a contest to see who has the most power, competing to have the most power. We lie on the ground and spread our arms This reminds me of the line where Noelle talks about how she would spread her arms and just fly off the Ferris wheel when Susie asks her what she would do on their little Ferris wheel date, and wave them until we get a shape just like us, so shape just like themselves. I'm the smallest, even smaller than Chris. So these two lines, I'm the smallest, even smaller than Chris, this has some connotations of power to me again. So both Noel and Chris, to me, are people who gain power when they are controlled by others, in my opinion, in my perception of Deltarune. I'm not entirely sure who or what is controlling Chris, whether it's directly the player, because I'm not sure if like Toby Fox is breaking the fourth wall, and the idea is that we, the player, are giving Chris power, or if there's another entity controlling it and we are watching it control Chris. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, I feel like Chris and Noel both have a very similar theme in which both of them gain power. Both of them are quote unquote small, so powerless. And then they both of them gain power the more they're controlled. In the weird route, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. Excuse my bilingual self. But in the weird route, I'm just gonna say it as route. In the weird route, we can see that Noelle gains more power when she is controlled by Chris and or us. Like so, Chris themselves gains power when they are controlled by us or the soul, red soul. You can see the way that they move when the red soul isn't controlling them, that they are slumping in the ending to chapter 2. They lack power, they're weak. So I guess this is important. The fact that Noel is the smallest and Chris is the second smallest. Perhaps, obviously it means age, right? Right, they're all young here. But again, like I'm trying to intentionally dig deeper into what it might mean and not take everything at face value. So this might have to do something with the power that these people have, both Noel and Chris, and how being controlled by others or drawing power from somewhere else, another source, is important for them to become stronger. And why? I'll get to why later. Why it's important for Noel, especially, other than the snow grave, the weird route. But I don't lose because after we stand up to look, Des always tells me. So Des is the one telling her this. Hey, look, Ellie. Ellie is a very cute nickname, by the way. But yours has more hidden underneath and pushes away all the snow I couldn't reach, so I have the biggest wings of all. So here's back to the like control aspect, right? There's some sort of theme of control going on in Deltarune. So here, just like how the soul sort of lends its power to Chris, there's this undertone of Des lending power to Noel. Des is the one who gives Noel power to be the biggest of them all, the most powerful of them all, so that she doesn't lose, so that Noel doesn't lose. When Noel realizes that she lacks power, Des is the one who gives her power, sort of, right? And here, first of all, this is the first spoken line we have from Des so far. Hey, look, Ellie, yours has more hidden underneath. This tells me something. So I feel like Des is someone who likes to dig deeper, right? So digging into the ground, digging deeper, is seen as an important and significant thing in the world of Deltarune. The more you dig, there's the underground, there's the dark worlds. Undertale has the underground. It's literally Undertale. Underneath. Something about the more you dig and the darker you go, the more power you have, or something. If not more power, then you access something that you normally shouldn't be able to access. So, Des is found if we believe that the voice in the code asking if we can hear somebody, if we assume that that is Des, then we know that Des is underneath. She's lower. She's someone who maybe is curious. Maybe she likes digging underneath and seeing what's below. And so to her, like, finding more is something that matters, or something that she cares about, or something that she can think about, or rather does think about. So that's why she's creative. She's like, oh, hey, look, Ellie, yours has more hidden underneath. She gives Noel's wings depth instead of increasing their size. And that is what constitutes as power for her, as victory, right? She pushes away all the snow that she couldn't reach, that Noel couldn't reach. So that Noel has the biggest wings of all. So the wings, see, she's not making, she hasn't Des isn't making the wings wider. She's making them deeper. And by making the wings deeper, it's considered that Noel has the biggest wings of all, and then she either wins or doesn't lose. at least doesn't lose, doesn't reach last place. And my assumption here is that Des dug herself into the code somehow. She dug and dug and dug until she reached a point where she can no longer escape. Perhaps she made a dark world and then she made another dark world, and that's how she got trapped in the code. I don't know. I don't know how she would reach the code. I don't know how a Deltarune character reaches the code. But there's something to gleam here, that the fact that she as in Death enjoys digging deeper and considers digging deeper, or even if she doesn't consider it herself, the game, the narrative connects her digging deeper to power, to having more, to winning. And the fact that right now she may be stuck in the code, that has some sort of connotation. There is some connection there. So I have the biggest wings of all. Also, a bit of an out there theory is that perhaps, maybe the fact that Noelle is so powerful in the weird route might mean that she is being helped by Des. Perhaps she and Des share a connection, especially if Noelle's Snowgrave powers are the reason why um the Des ended up somewhere else, ended up in the code perhaps. So if it turns out that that Des is in a darker yet darker place, perhaps she is capable of lending help to Noelle. This might mean that the reason why she is so powerful in the Snowgrave route and why she's seen as the most powerful of the Lightners by Queen, perhaps is because she has that connection, that aid, just like Chris has the aid from us and or the Red Soul, or perhaps Gaster, perhaps Kara. We're not sure yet. Perhaps another entity we don't know yet. But either way, see there's this theme of like lending power to people through connection, through control. And it could be that Des is doing that for Noelle, probably unintentionally. She probably just wants to get out, and probably Noelle is. It might be that Noelle has the strongest connection to her previous world. So therefore, this connection, this soul connection that they share, this allows for Des to empower Noelle further. I wish it could snow whenever I wanted. So the biggest wings of all, this is, like Spamton has a lot related to Noelle. We know that darkness are sort of made out of the hopes and dreams and like the thoughts of lightness. And Spamton seems to be one that's related to Noelle a lot. Noelle's presence has affected Spamton. Without Noelle, Spamton wouldn't be who he is. And he is also likened to being a person who, or like, I don't know if we can really call him a person, but a being who believes that the bigger wings he has, the more power he has, right? So he can reach heaven. That's what his dialogue entails in canon. And I guess it could have been that Noel's memories of having the biggest wings of all is what affected Spamton, and that's why he talks about it like that. I wish it could snow whenever I wanted. So this goes into two things. I'm sure other people have theorized about this before, and I'm sure I myself have watched videos of it, but I have an idea that Snowgrave is something that Noel has actually done in real life, right? Something that Noel has done in real life, and perhaps maybe she's the reason why Des is lost. Maybe she snowgraved Des. I don't know, but I have this inkling that Noel has been able to cast Snowgrave in real life before, but she's forgotten the memories of it. Because you can see that happening to her in the weird route, where she uses Snowgrave on Birdley and then she sort of like gets dazed and forgets what's happening. Because maybe it's like overwhelmingly powerful. Maybe it's because she's intentionally blocking off her memories and emotions because it's too much for her to bear. Either way, her wishing that it could snow whenever she wanted, that could have been something that she is actually capable of. Maybe it's not just a wish. Along with like, her having like a holiday theme. The holidays in Western culture is associated with, sending letters to Santa and asking for something you want. So maybe she's someone who can grant wishes or grant her own wishes. Or if she wants something hard enough, it can manifest into reality. And perhaps that is what the soul is able to take advantage of during the Snowgrave route, the weird route. I have said the word route/route in multiple ways. I should just Google the right way to say it, but anyways. Um, yeah, so that's my overall analysis of this. I think there's a lot to glean here. And again, stuff we just sort of already have had hints of. I'm sure other people on YouTube and on like Tumblr, Reddit have spoken about this on Twitter. Um, so I'm sure this has been discussed before, and I'm sure by the time I upload this video, there's probably other people who've already said these things already. But even so, I want to just contribute to the conversation. So yeah, that's my quote unquote analysis of piece of text. This piece of text, which I think is very, very important and probably hints to a lot of things that we'll find out very soon, anyways. So yeah, that's it. Happy holiday, guys, and thank you to Toby Fox for giving us a nice little treat for the holidays. Bye bye, and thanks for watching.